How about it there on YouTube? It's your boy John Shocks.
It's your boy T.
And this is another special episode, Sports Talk Tay and Josh Loki review series. So, but before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you
Yep.
like, comment, whether you agree or disagree. And before we get started, there will be spoilers included into this review. So we're not gonna go into details. We're not gonna go minute by minute, but we're gonna
Yeah.
potentially discuss some spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you watch it on Disney Plus, and you can come back and watch it. Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right. So what was your first impression of episode 3?
Shoot. If I would be honest with you, I like my first initial thoughts of it damn, Disney spent a shit ton of money for this one.
Mm-hmm.
They spent a lot of money. I think the budget on this one is up there, but the special effects was good. I think this one was a little bit more of a slower pace than the first two. But I liked how even though it was a slow pace, I like how they gravitated towards the stories of both Lokis. Even though her name is not really Loki now that we know, but I'm still gonna call her Lady Loki.
Sylvie.
Yeah, Sylvie. Yeah.
Sylvie is the name. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. My first impression wasn't my favorite episode. Just being honest.
Yeah, of course.
This is more of a filler episode.
Yeah.
Because episode 2 left on a somewhat cliffhanger when you got TVA agent behind in that disaster.
Yeah.
And then when they went through, I was like, okay, I guess. But I agree with you. The special effects was tremendous, and for a filler episode, they spent a lot of money. I'm just gonna say Disney wrote a blank check and just say just make it happen. That's literally what happened. Okay. So what do you think they revealed in episode 3? Anything reveal you?
Do we want to go to that one right now, or you want to wait for the predictions? Well,
we just discussing what you think they revealed in the episode.
As of right now, the way that they revealed, it looked like the Timekeepers are playing everybody in this whole fiasco. Yeah. And we're finding out more and more, especially with this episode, how least important the TVA is now.
Okay.
That we just we're finding out more and more about the backstory of the TVA agency, not just the Timekeepers, but just the TVA in general, and the fact that Sylvie, or Lady Loki, I guess they're gonna call her Sylvie for this point of this show, that she actually has that, I guess you want to say, that switch where how Loki was starting to become more of the in between the lines, in between, I'm doing this for my family, or I'm doing this for my sake, I'm trying to be a changed person. You start to see that more in this episode. As far as her, I think this is her transition from being the all-out badass that we've seen from the first 2 episodes to actually showing that she's actually got some kind of human element to her. So I agree. For me, I kind of like seeing how characters going to develop from how the season or how the series going to go.
Okay. What I learned about this episode, that a lot of the TVA agents are, in my opinion, were variants of a different timeline. So the one of the biggest clues, if you watch maybe from episode 1, 2 leading up to this episode, for example, Morbius, which is Owen Wilson character, if you he have a section with jet skis.
Yeah.
He had San Diego references. So I'm assuming he did something in his timeline. He was a variant. So I don't think they was actually built to work for the TV. I think they just variants taken.
Yeah.
And also, when Sylvie was, trying to manipulate the little TVA agent, shots. Looked like he was at a beach bar or something. Then they looked like it was at a nightclub or setting. So what that proves to me, that the TVA agent wasn't just built just for that. So she probably in her past life probably was at a bar or something. So some way she messed up the timeline, so they started over.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that this, like Lady was saying in the episode, where I think that was her past life, and they just try
Yeah,
to find a way to like make it seem like she was never there, but somehow she still got the memories. Like, you
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah. That's
Like it
why.
would take somebody like a Sylvie or a Loki to bring that out of her to show
Hmm.
that you're not just a TVA agent, you was actually a human. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
but this bring up my question from last episode. I
uh,
think the timekeepers are not what we think they are.
I'm starting to like. I think by the time I think this is ending with, like you said, I think they might be that Wizard of Oz
Type
thing.
type of shit.
Somebody, yeah, somebody's behind is behind the timekeepers to be that figure for them. You know what I'm trying to say? Like they
Yeah.
try, it's like somebody behind the timekeepers that's literally trying to keep them in check, or that person worked for the timekeepers to make it look like we're not around. Like we're just not here.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you a question. So when Sylvia was trying to get back at the TVA headquarters,
Mm-hmm.
it was these golden elevators she was trying to get to.
Yep.
Do you think that was legitimate where the timekeepers were resting or where they were, or was it the Wizard of Oz? I'm getting the Wizard of Oz theme. I
Yeah,
think
that's what I'm thinking. That's
I
what I'm
think
thinking.
the
Wizard of Oz.
timekeepers is used to keep the culture of that type of stuff. It's too many loopholes into the
Yeah,
story of the timekeepers. It's making me question it. Maybe Sylvia is not the villain.
the
That's why I'm.
villain in this.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think she's not the villain.
Well, that and the fact that let's not forget that Race Slayer keeps showing up when they bring up the timekeepers. Like nobody never realized this. Like I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody realizes it now. But even with that scene, who was
Mm-hmm.
the first one at the elevator? Race Slayer. Like I'm sitting there like, nah, she knows who's the if the timekeepers are real, or she knows somebody that is part of this whole thing with the timekeepers pushing that motive, saying that they're bigger than the timeline. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be because she's in the thick of all of this, all of it. I mean, I understand she's the judge, but she is putting her hands in a lot of this story as far as like the story of the timekeepers. Like she's in it way too much.
Okay. Okay.
Not like it's a bad thing, but I'm just pointing it out like as far as like the narrative. Like if you see her, more than likely you're gonna see something dealing with the timekeepers, more than likely.
Okay.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
let's jump to predictions. So what do you think is predicting potentially in episode 4 or towards the series of Loki? What you think?
I'm thinking if I had to go off of just how everything's running right now, I'm starting to think, like you said, that Wizard of Oz vibe, and I'm starting to think the person that is behind all this, even though he might not show his face, he might not, it might just be a back, like showing the back of him, like the costume or whatever. I'm starting to think for real, Kane the Conqueror might be the behind this whole thing.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
Even
okay.
though they might not show him because he's still got to be an Ant-Man and stuff like that. But somehow, some way, he's probably going to tie into this whole timekeepers thing, and I think he might be part of it.
Okay, I think Kane the Conqueror will be mentioned, or I don't think he's going to be shown, and I think they're just going to mention of his existence.
Yeah,
So leading to Ant-Man and Doctor
Doctor Strange. Yeah,
Two. So I'm still going with my take on Sylvie. I think Sylvie is trying to get back to her timeline that she was taken from.
yeah,
So my goal, my gut is telling me she's trying to mess up the timeline, the secret timeline. So her where she used to live or exist, or somebody she loved exists in that timeline, or somebody she
yeah,
cared about to bring back to that. So I think the timekeepers, if they're legit, change
yeah,
the timeline, which probably ruined maybe her family, friends. That's why I think Sylvie. And another thing, I think Loki lied about trying to get out. Might use one of his tricksters type of situation. That's
Yeah, of
my
course.
that's like my curveball. I think he may have done that because I
Yeah.
don't know
Oh,
how would they get it, like, because to activate the device they need like a large source of energy. So what, they gonna wait till the moons collides and the planets collide? I'm trying to think of how they will get out. Only way I can think of is that Loki probably tricked her the whole time to try to learn
mm,
more about her. Then he's at the end probably just gonna do something like teleport out there or something like that. Or,
yeah. I'm sorry for real. If you think about it for real, if
mm-hmm.
you like, even I think even before like this episode,
Mm-hmm.
we always kind of figured that because Sylvie is a part of Loki, you know, um, this might be. I want to say this might be the Loki before Dark World, like like the when the his mother, when he pretty much set his mother up to die. I'm thinking that Loki, that took over that body, and then just like you said, try to get back to that timeline or whatever the case may be, try to get back to the person that she loved or he loved at the time. And then the other thing was, if you ever caught it, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's no shocker, but the whole he can't, pretty much he was coming out as bisexual on that episode too,
I
when
guess.
they was talking about love. I was like, I guess, but
I guess.
yeah, I was like, I guess, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, especially now. But
But today coaching wouldn't shock me, so I wouldn't.
yeah.
Yeah, it don't shock me. I'm like, okay, well, okay.
Yeah, just yeah, okay. Because the whole love discussion they was having back and forth and that whole thing, and then
Oh yeah, you talking about the line where she said, "Oh, I'm pretty sure it was plenty princesses for
yeah,
royalty," making that reference. He said, "Well, a little bit of," I think he said a little bit of both, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
That quote, and everybody's like, "Oh," went to Twitter. They was like,
yeah.
"Loki's coming out." I was like, "I guess." I was
I
like,
guess, yeah,
"Okay, I guess." I was like, "Oh, I have no problem with it."
yeah. Me neither. Like
Oh, that doesn't mess up the storyline, so I don't see. Yeah.
yeah. But I'm just saying, like the fact that I think, like you said, I think this might be dealing with a tale of two stories, where
Mm-hmm.
Loki is trying to, I guess, conquer the TVA, where though Sylvie is trying to get back to where she was when she felt like she was loved, or when she was in love with somebody, or like you said, something in that timeline where something just triggered her to go back where she need to go back. And I think at some point these might clash when they find out either A, the timekeepers are a big lie, or two, the timeline can't, it would just be a chaos and they turn everything into the original storyline where it was multiple multiverses. So it's like it's going to be a collision of like colliding of two worlds to
Yeah.
try to see what's going to happen. Like, is Loki's story going to prevail, or is Sylvie's story going to prevail at the end of this, or is both the stories going to
I
prevail
think
because of the mixture?
I think the way it's going to end is the multiverse is going to happen, which is going to lead to Doctor Strange 2 multiverse rule.
Yeah,
So I think the sacred timeline is probably going to get broken.
that's what I was thinking. Like, it's just going to scatter
That's
again.
how I think if I had to do my prediction. But
Yeah,
this is just of now. So give it your rating, 1 to 10, episode 3.
I probably get this one. I get this one a solid 6 on this one.
6. I'm gonna give it a 7. Wasn't my favorite episode. It was more of a filler. I'm gonna give it like a C. It wasn't
Oh,
my favorite episode, but
yeah. Only reason I gave it a 6 because if even though it felt like it didn't feel like it was like that time limit that they had. Like, it felt shorter.
now the reason it was a filler episode. It was a filler episode because the way it
Yeah.
left. I'm looking at it from 1 and 2. The way it left like on a cliffhanger when he
Mm-hmm.
left. Yeah, on in a store during a hurricane, and
Mm-hmm.
then they just did that. I was like, I guess this was more of a story trying to figure out who Sylvie was, trying to briefly explain her time, like her
Yeah.
backstory. But I want to say this episode probably really, I hate to say it, didn't really matter too much. Only thing that I say revealed that the TVA agents were probably most likely variants of a
Yeah.
different. That's the only thing I got out of it. Outside of that, not really, not really. But I think we're going to end it here. Okay, so thanks for watching. Make sure you
Mm-hmm.
like, subscribe, and also follow our Facebook group. And follow us on social media. We're gonna try to
Yep.
get, and we're gonna post each and every Friday, Saturday. All right. So we're gonna have discussions like this. And peace and hair grease. Deuces.